So I think we can start. Hi and welcome everyone to this third session of the Science Labs. My name is Karin Jacobson, I work for JTI, and I'm here today with our four panelists that will address and take questions on their submissions. So we have 90 minutes today, approximately 20 minutes per speaker. So we'll start with 5 minutes watching the videos and then open the floor for commentary and questions. So for our first speaker, we have Rosalia Emma, who's a PhD in translational medicine and working as assistant professor of internal medicine at the Department of Clinical and Experimental Medicine of the University of Catania. She is also a researcher of the Center of Excellence for the Acceleration of Harm Reduction of the University of Catania. Her research activity deals with respiratory diseases, harm of cigarette smoking, and health benefits of quitting. She has experience in toxicology in vitro studies and in exposure methods to smoke aerosol using automated instruments. And the title of her submission is Replica Project, a journey through multicentric research endeavors.
Hello GFN community, I am Rosalia Emma and I will present an overview of the 3 years of the Replica Multicenter project. The Center of Excellence for the Acceleration of Harm Reduction, COIR, was established within the University of Catania on March 2018. Our mission is to study tobacco smoke's health effects and develop strategy to contain and reduce the smoke-related risk through the use of new technologies. COIR focuses on 3 key areas: harm reduction by understanding smoking addiction and finding effective cessation tools, innovation by using science and technology to create safer alternatives to smoking, internationalization by collaborating globally to tailor solutions to specific regions. Indeed, we have an extended global network with partners around the world. The recent Reproducibility and Research Integrity Report by the Science, Innovation and Technology Committee of the House of Commons presents critical insights. Firstly, the report emphasizes that replicability is fundamental to science. However, it highlights that methodological flaws in research, even if not deliberate, frequently compromise reproducibility. These faulty results can misinform policies, negatively impact research practices, undermine public trust in science, and eventually affect health and social care practices. The Replica project by COIR has built strong partnership with international universities and research centers. During the project first phase, from 2019 to 2022, we replicated the most important international studies in the field of tobacco harm reduction. One of the main aspects of the Replica project is the harmonization process that consists of study planning using original studies, harmonization of instruments and products, harmonization meetings and personal trainings, laboratory protocol harmonization, standardization of data recording and deviation communication, training and on-site verification, along with virtual lab support implemented during the COVID pandemic. During the first year, 5 international partners from Italy, USA, Serbia, Greece, and Oman replicated 3 published studies performed by the tobacco industry regarding cytotoxicity induced by tobacco smoke and electronic nicotine delivery system aerosols on a model of airway epithelial cells. We replicated cell viability results and confirmed that almost 80% of cytotoxic effects are due to volatile compounds in the vapor phase of smoke. Also, our findings demonstrated the reduced cytotoxic effects of HENS aerosols compared to traditional cigarette smoke. During the second year, the same international partners replicated the work by Taylor and colleagues on the reduced ability of a cigarette aerosol to inhibit in vitro endothelial migration compared with cigarette smoke. We replicated the same study, adding the comparison with 2 commercial tobacco heating products. We measured the scratch wound area at different time points in order to quantify the cell migration over the time. Consistently with the original study, we observed a substantial reduction of the effects of aerosol from e-cig and HTP on endothelial cell migration compared with cigarette smoke. While cigarette smoke reduced endothelial wound healing ability, e-cig and HTP aerosols showed no effect on endothelial cells. During the third year, the Italian team and our partner from Oman conducted a replication study of a paper published by Rad and colleagues. We assessed the cytotoxic, mutagenic, and genotoxic activity of MyBlue e-cigarette aerosol compared to 1R6F combustible cigarette smoke. As in the original paper, we performed neutral red uptake assay for the evaluation of cytotoxicity, Ames test for the evaluation of mutagenesis, and the in vitro micronucleus assay for the evaluation of genotoxicity. The results showed high cytotoxicity, mutagenicity, and genotoxicity induced by cigarette smoke, but slight or no cytotoxic, mutagenic, and genotoxic effect induced by the e-cigarette aerosol. In conclusion, the replica study confirmed the reduced cytotoxicity of electronic nicotine delivery system aerosol compared to traditional cigarettes, supporting their potential as harm reduction tools. The consistent reproducibility of findings across multiple studies highlights the importance of data reproducibility, enhancing confidence in research conclusions. Finally, replication studies are crucial for supporting tobacco harm reduction strategies and the regulation of safer nicotine products, establishing the credibility of published data.
So thank you for that dismission. Before opening the floors for question, just wondered if there's anything that you would like to add, Rosalia, to comment.
Yes. I want to start to say that I am honored to have the opportunity today to present this important topic, the replication. The replication lies at the heart of the scientific inquiry, because replication has different strength and impact on scientific research. Indeed, in the ever-changing landscape of scientific research, the replication is a cornerstone. It's a cornerstone of reliability and validity of results in this field, in the tobacco harm reduction, especially. Because by replicating, we not only validate the robustness of results, but we can cover, for example, some biases of limitation that we can see in the previous studies. And also the importance of replicating is not goes far beyond the academic curiosity. The replication, the implication of replication are very important for decision making, and in particular for clinical practice, but also for society, for regulation of the different products that we can use for alternatives. But one important thing is that the journey towards replication is not without challenges, because replication requires substantial resources, times, and also collaboration among researchers. And one important thing is that when we replicate results, these are more robust when we have different centers that replicate the same results. One result is is one result. If we have different results, 1, 2, 3, 5 results that confirm a previous published studies, we have robustness results. And this is I present in this video the phase 1 of the replica project. Now we are in the second year of the phase 2. We are replicating, we are focusing on replication of published papers by academics, and especially one papers focus on flavor and one on cisplatin treatment for cancer. And we are try to communicate with the academic community in this field, because not ever the methodology stated in the paper is clear. So we have to ask to the authors some clarification about methodologies, because to replicate we need to have all the details to replicate in the best way. So in conclusion, replication is not a merely technical exercise, but a fundamental pillar of scientific integrity and progress. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So open the floor for questions.
It's not a question, it's a comment. And it's not so much scientific, it's more of a political comment. So you are very right that replicability is in the definition of science in any field. But in tobacco control, in tobacco harm reduction, it has also become a political issue. So in October 31st, 2019, Bloomberg released an article titled, "Scientists are working overtime to debunk the vaping scare. Some researchers are trying to discredit studies suggesting e-cigarettes are dangerous. Who are they?" Basically, the article was an ad hominem attack against myself and to a lesser extent against Clive Bates. They mention us by name, of course, because I dared replicate some studies which generated and reported some truly ridiculous results, like aldehyde emissions being orders of magnitude higher than smoking, to a level that they would cause acute toxicity. That was the level that they found. In one of my studies, I used the same liquids, the same hardware, the same puffing regime, everything the same, and I found levels which were up to 580-fold lower than what the US study reported. Again, I repeat, using the same material, the same hardware, the same liquid, the same puffing patterns. So I was accused of attacking scientists who made the original studies and published them because I was trying to replicate them. In fact, in one of the cases, and the scientist who was complaining in this article, the scientist denied telling me what brand of liquids he used in the study, because he was considering it insulting that I wanted to replicate his study. I found levels more than 3 orders of magnitude lower. He was just unlucky because, despite not mentioning the brands, he mentioned the names of the liquids, but not the brand, and some of the names were unique to one manufacturer in the US. So I was able to trace the products myself with the help of some American colleagues and vapors, and that was how I replicated the study. He didn't even write a letter to the editor if he wanted to present some sort of objections, but he went to the media, Bloomberg specifically, to complain. I was interviewed for 5 hours by the journalist who wrote the article, not in one call, but in multiple calls. I remember it, 5 hours. He didn't even inform me that he released the article at the end. I was informed by some American friends that there is an article about you in Bloomberg. So you are absolutely right that replicability is the definition of science in any field, but in harm reduction, it can also become a crime if you don't agree with specific views on harm reduction.
Thank you for this comment and further example then of really showing how important it is to have reproducibility. Do we have any questions, commentary from the audience? Yes.
Just to be clear, maybe some missed information. If you look at the data from the 5 labs, it is kind of remarkable, contrary to what Constantino is saying about academicians doing this type of research, how close to the tobacco industry data are the data from the 5 independent labs.
That's what they don't like, of course.
I'm sorry to say, but that's what happened. That's the reason why probably we are shifting towards now replicating academic data, because that would be really interesting to see whether we see the same convergence or we're going to uncover some important 3 or 4 order of magnitude divergence.
Well, I've also done the same. When IQOS was first released, I was doing replication studies of what the industry reported in terms of emissions, and I was within 90 to 110% of what the industry reported, which is excellent, considering that we used different labs, we used commercial products, and so on. They don't like it. It depends on your results. So replication appears in harm reduction as a subjective way of approaching things. If the outcome is in favor of a prohibitory approach, everything is fine with replication. If it's similar to what the industry reports, or if it's against what some crazy American scientists who have never seen any cigarette in their life report, then it's bad. When people who were abusing the equipment, basically, and overheating it, were reporting crazy numbers that had nothing to do with real world use, and we were criticizing that, we were attacking them. We were not restoring the truth, we were attacking the scientists by doing replication studies. It's amazing.
Following on the topic of choice of studies, I just had a question on how you choose which studies to replicate, if what are the criteria?
Okay. Okay, in the first phase, we choose paper from tobacco industries. We in the first year we choose the three papers that are easy to replicate, because we start a collaboration with different centers. So we established the same laboratories in all the world, in all the centers in Indonesia, Serbia. We focus on LMIC countries to establish collaboration with them, and also to expand the tobacco harm reduction field also in this country, and this is very important. So the first year is we choose a paper that was easy to replicate with assay that is easy. So cytotoxicity assay, it is easy to perform, but we focus on the generation of aerosol, because the generation of aerosol is the important point that in the papers from academics is it is yes, this Dutch. Yeah. So we start with these papers from BAT, the three papers in the first year. Another paper with the Scratch essay. This is also an easy essay. And then in the third year, but I want to highlight one thing that in the first phase of replica study, we experienced the COVID pandemic, so this was a challenge for us because some countries was unable to work during this year, but we try to carry out the work. So this is our way to choose the paper, and then in the second phase we focus on academic paper, and we choose the paper based on exposure methods, because all the papers published by academics have wrong exposure methods. So we are replicating by using standards and standardized machines. This is very important in our work.
Thank you very much. Do we have any additional questions? Yes.
I just had a question about replication studies in general, sort of aside from the very colorful politics of tobacco harm reduction. Do you find it more challenging to do replication studies? I'm not a scientist. I just get the impression sometimes from talking to scientists that replication doesn't seem necessarily as sexy and as doing something that's not a replication. Is it more challenging to get funding, get publications, recruit students, because it's something that isn't seen as exciting as maybe doing something that hasn't been done before? And if so, then how do you work on overcoming those challenges?
Yeah. There are a lot of challenges to replicate. It was easier in the first phase because replicate papers from tobacco industries. It was easier than academics papers because, but the challenge regard more the methodology to reproduce the methodology, but tobacco industry state their methodology, yes, in detail, and clear and detail their methodology, because they need this. So they publish for the market, no? So it is important for us. Instead, academics, they are big. They are in the essay, cytotoxicity, for example, in very, very hard essays, for example, genomics, transcriptomics, very, very big essay. But when they write the paper, we lost more details. So one important challenge is to communicate, and not all the research are available to communicate their research, their details.
That's exactly also my experience. In many of the studies, there is lack of detail and information on methodology. And usually what goes wrong in studies like this is methodological mistakes. Unfortunately, some reports, mainly from independent researchers, they don't report a lot essential details, in my opinion, not just a lot, but essential details of the methodology in their protocols, and that makes replication very difficult. And I also faced scientists who denied giving more details for no real reason. I mean, I approached the scientist very politely, and I just told him that I want to replicate your study. Please tell me what kind of liquids you used. They don't like it. I don't know why. I've never had myself, I've never denied anyone any additional information that he requested. I've responded to emails by Stanton Glantz, giving him all information that he requested. I was not hostile in any way, although he has accused me of everything you can imagine. That's what scientists should do. We should be transparent. And if the tobacco industry is not transparent, then you understand that there is a commercial issue going on. But for an independent scientist, why not be transparent? It doesn't make sense.
Yes, I'm very sorry, but I think we have to move on, unfortunately. 30 seconds, yes, 30 seconds.
We were, about the funding, we were lucky enough to convince the Foundation for Smoke-Free World to fund such a project. So in terms of funding, of course, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
We also tried an Horizon project on replica.
Yeah.
However, as you know, Horizon's project are highly politicized, and basically, eventually, only 2 consortia got the funds. We came third by only 5 points. So we are very glad that we got there, but we didn't get Horizon funds. Another way to overcome the problem of not sexy replica projects, just to introduce new technologies as an add-on methodology in the paper.
So thank you very much. I think it's a topic that can be discussed much longer, but thank you very much again.